Yes, thank you very much, Sean. And once again, a very big welcome to all of our attendees this morning. As always, these Toolbox Talks are brought to you by FEM and IOPSA, the Institute of Plumbing South Africa. And a very big thank you to SIOSH as well for accrediting these Toolbox Talks with 1 CPD point. As a reminder, the Zulu Toolbox Talks, which is a presentation of these Tuesday morning talks that is then translated into Zulu and given every following week, Monday at 7 a.m. So if you do have anyone who would like to join this, please let us know. Otherwise, get them to register for that at the same place where you registered for the English Toolbox Talks. So without further ado, we're going to get straight into our Toolbox Talk this morning with an apology from my side. We do have a lot of emails coming through from you as the attendees, and I apologize that I haven't gotten through to you this week. I have actually been off most of last week, so I will be getting back to you during the course of this week with all your questions and queries that came through. But some of the overwhelming things that did happen was some of the changes to the Toolbox Talk topics that are going to be happening in the following weeks. There are going to be certificates of compliance discussions, auditing of geysers and installations, and how that affects you as a plumber, as well as you safety professionals out there. What should you look for when having a certificate of compliance handed to you, or when work such as installations for these geysers or hydro wells are actually installed? And we'll also get a subject matter expert's opinion on this, who will be joining us for these webinars, perhaps in the next week or two, just to help us out with exactly what is needed. And this is in an effort to help everyone fully understand the scope of works when we are on site, just so all of us are on the same page, speaking the same language, and making sure that we remain safe together. So we hope that you are going to enjoy this, but as always, since it is the first Tuesday of the month, we do have a how-to section for our Toolbox Talk. And this is going to be on policies. What is a policy and how do we go about designing our policies to ensure that they are not only adequate for the company, but effective in mitigating the risks that we are always exposed to. So let's get straight into it this morning with a definition of what a policy is. Now, policy, aside from the health and safety side of it, just the word policy, the definition of this is a course or principle of action, and that comes directly from the description in a dictionary. Now, a course or a principle of action means that it is something that you undertake to achieve in your life. And this can be in all aspects of life. When it comes to a health and safety policy, this is a written statement by the employer of a company, generally the board of directors or the CEO, because it is a commitment to protect the health and safety of employees as well as the public. But notice that it is also an endorsed commitment by management to its employees regarding their health and safety. So the definition of a health and safety policy then is to ensure the effective commitment on behalf of the employer, the CEO or the board of directors, as well as by management, in order to really boost and strive towards keeping employees and the public safe because of the hazards or risks that are involved in the scope of work that we provide. Now, what does this mean to you as an employer? What does this mean to you as an employee? Well, let's carry on with seeing what should actually be in a policy, what it means to have these items inside a policy, and what it should mean for each one of us, regardless the role that we play in the organization, carrying out health and safety, endorsing health and safety, or ensuring health and safety is always there. So a very good place to start then is at legislation. Legislation directs us on what should be in a policy. And the legislation here that is going to outline how a policy should be drafted is Section 7 of the Occupational Health and Safety Act. And it gives these 4 pointers. This is something that you as a company would sit down and Obviously, keep it as simple as possible. Don't overcomplicate your policies, but really you should sit down and say, I want to do the following, using Section 7 as a guideline. For one, it says that this policy must be prepared, but it is in the interest of protecting the health and safety of employees while they are at work. So really, the basis or the center or the core really of your health and safety policy should concern the protection of your employees. So have this in the back of your mind while preparing the policy or while preparing to review your policy in the future. It should also include a description of your organization. Again, it doesn't have to be a long, drawn out description, just a very basic description of what your company does, and then go into why your company is going to make the arrangements for keeping health and safety within that organization. The third point is the reviewing section of the policy. It is very important that every company monitors and reviews the effectiveness of its policy. Now, many times, and we do have this as we go from time to different customers, that they have a policy that was written a few years ago and it's just re-signed every year. But what does reviewing a policy actually mean? Well, we need to sit down and read through it. We need to understand if these are still our core electives. Is this still something we are trying to achieve in the company? Is it still in line with our mission or what we are striving toward within health and safety? Remembering that our entire management system almost rests on what our policy toward health and safety is. So it's a good idea to see whether you are effective in carrying out your policy or whether adjustments need to be made. Perhaps things have changed in the workplace. New types of scope have come in. You perhaps are offering up different services to your clients. Perhaps you're using different tools or materials now. Or maybe your company is getting larger and you have more employees. Or perhaps you downscaled so that you have less employees. Well, your health and safety policy should always be reviewed during these matters of change. The fourth point is to prominently display this policy at your workplace. Now, we don't have to tell you what prominently display means. Anyone that is prominent or anything that is prominent, it basically sticks out. In other words, if I had to visit your place of work, whether it is as a visitor or as a customer or even as an employee walking in, I should immediately see your occupational health and safety policy. And that is because in the interest of having everybody know and understand the policy, it should be displayed in an area where everyone can see it. Again, don't overcomplicate your policy. Keep it simple so that each person that sees it knows and understands what you want to achieve. But again, what are the goals and objectives that you want to achieve? Well, what is a goal? What is an objective? And how can you go about putting this into place in your occupational health and safety policy? And again, we are speaking to you as an employees as well as employers designing the policy. But as a suggestion, why not do this as a team? Yes, Section 7 does say it is the responsibility of the employer to prepare a health and safety policy, but it does not state that no one else can be involved in this policy. So do it as a team. More heads are better than one, and sometimes you can go from a very good idea and spiral downwards into overcomplicating it. But then by discussing it more, we can really get to achieving something that is simple and it is the desired route for everyone to take. Now, a goal is the objective of a company in their ambition or effort or aim or desired result. Now, what does this mean? Well, basically, what should following your policy result in? That's basically what it means. In other words, if we follow this policy, what is it going to end up for me? Am I going to remain safe? And how is it going to get me there? And that should be the goal of the company. And the wording behind that is really up to you. The objectives, which is very similar to a goal, is just the intentional purpose of your company's ambition, effort, or desired result. In other words, this is why the policy is being drafted. So not only do we want to achieve a fact-based policy, in other words, stating what we want to do as a company, we also want to understand why you are wanting to do this. Now, again, we might ask ourselves, why are we actually discussing policies for a toolbox talk? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Let us first take a look at what is a mission statement. The mission statement is a formal summary of the aims, values, or core mission of the company or organization. Basically, this is your core purpose to achieve health and safety. It really is the reason why you are striving toward a safer working environment. Now, there are many companies that can assist you with drafting a mission statement. There are many websites out there, as you see there, how to create your company's mission statement. Where do you want to go? What do you want to achieve? Is it financial? Is it progressing towards growth? Is it getting diversity in your company and moving to more BEE structured type of company? Is it the growth of CSI, your customer service? Or is it just quality? Whichever mission you are striving toward, a statement is going to give you the backing of how to achieve this purpose. But again, we ask, why are we discussing all these things, our goals, objectives, and mission of a health and safety policy? Well, it's for two reasons. And the two reasons are employers and employees. Now, an employer, we want to ask you a question. Do you have an active role in carrying out your occupational health and safety policy? And to the employees, do you know and understand what your company policy is and how you should carry out the objectives set out in this policy? But to answer the question, why are we discussing this? Well, in very bold letters at the bottom there, you can see zero harm. What we are honestly trying to achieve, and what any company in South Africa will actually try and achieve with their health and safety policy, is the protection of their employees in order to ensure that no one is hurt or harmed by any scope that they are performing. And I'm sure that is something all of you also want to achieve. Now, if health and safety is not very big or very active in your company, perhaps you are very small, how can you go about maybe just reviewing what your company's objectives and policies are? Well, you can set aside a few minutes. And what you can do is try to understand what you want to achieve, then why you want to achieve it, and put down the commitment to back your decisions. The reason for this is it becomes clearer to you how you should go about doing your work. And again, we are not here trying to tell you how to do the actual job of installing plumbing, maintaining plumbing, or even supplying a quality products to your customers. What we are trying to achieve is zero harm through the commitment of both employers and employees to a goal, an objective, and a mission toward a safer working environment. So perhaps you have your own health and safety policy. When last has this been reviewed? As an employee, when last have you read your occupational health and safety policy? Perhaps you don't have one and you weren't too sure that you needed to have this. Not all of us read the law all the time, and sometimes we do not know what is required of us. Well, get the needed help. Why not go and read Section 7, drop us a mail, and we can guide you through how to actively pursue a health and safety environment by setting forth those goals and targets that you want to achieve. And then again, we do have a template of an occupational health and safety policy for you. If you would like a copy of that, please drop us a mail, put your email address in the chat box, and we'll be sure to get this copy through to you. But maybe we can ask you as the audience, how do you go about doing your work, and what is your commitment to health and safety? Because this is an interactive toolbox talk, we really do want to get your viewpoints on all the topics that we discuss. So we really encourage you to please get in contact with us. On the next page, as we speak about the free training, you will see that there are 3 email addresses that you can use. The one being chris@ohss.co.za, safety@iopsa.org, and info@ohss.co.za. Now we know we do take some time to get back to you, and I do apologize for this past week of being away, but really keep in touch with us and keep bugging us. We really appreciate it. Comments, suggestions, even criticism that you might have, we do take it into advisement and see what we can do to make it better for you. Perhaps you need help with templates or designing health and safety policies. Again, get in touch so that we can assist you in driving that motivation and commitment in order to achieve zero harm for your employees as well as the public that are affected by your works. So that is the end of our Toolbox Talk discussion this morning, but we do want to remind you about some of the free training for IOPSA members only. Please remember, if you are an IOPSA member, you do get to send 2 employees free of charge for each of the courses that are given. That is first aid and firefighting. Now, I've taken a few minutes extra out of the Toolbox Talk just to discuss some changes that are happening in the coming months with this training. So if you can just pay attention, if you are sending somebody through to this training, the Durban KZN, which is happening this month on the week of the 13th, obviously the emails have been sent out to you to tell you which dates this is going to be happening, which is the 12th and the 13th for first aid, and then the following 14th for the actual basic firefighting. So if you are already in that course, I believe it is fully booked already, and perhaps you want to join the Gauteng branch, September the 10th and 11th is the basic first aid level 1, and then there is a change from the 24th to the 26th of September, and this is because there is a public holiday, which is Heritage Day, on the 24th of September. So we apologize for that. We have to move it, but as a suggestion, we are making it the 26th of September, which is the Thursday. Now we know that this is a very short week. Most will take off the Monday because the Tuesday is a holiday. So could we have you please sending us information on when you would want this course if you are joining it? Would you prefer to have it the 26th or perhaps the week before? Also on a Tuesday, perhaps the 17th of September. Please let us know. Again, you can get in touch with us on those 3 email addresses or WhatsApp me on 071-875-2070. Then there is a change in service provider, and this is because everything is changing constantly. And in South Africa, we always want to keep up to date and also give you, the members, the best service possible. So from August, we have changed a training service provider on the first aid level 1. So we'd like to say thank you to all of you for making this adjustment with us. Nothing changes. These are just an awesome service provider that have given us some great figures, and we really appreciate that they've come to us to assist us with the first aid level 1 side. So maybe the change of name or certificate that you're going to be getting is all that's going to happen, but the training and the quality of training is still going to be there. And for all of you that have done this training before, thank you very much, and your certificates are still valid, obviously, for another 2 years or however the expiry date is on that certificate that you have. Again, if you need help, drop us a text, drop us a mail, or even send us a comment or question through the Toolbox Talk questions that you have on your little panel over there. So thank you once again. As we mentioned, the change of topic for next week, we are going to be looking at certificate of compliance. What is that? why is it so important, and how do we go about actually attaining a certificate of compliance, specifically in connection with the installation of the plumbing materials that we have. And this is coming up on the 13th, which is next week, Tuesday, and we look forward to having all of you join us again for that. So thank you very much from my side once again, and we'll hand it over back to you, Sean.